Hello again, once again we are here with Combat Patrol magazine. We're doing the reviews. This is WarGame Hammer. Let's get straight into it. Welcome back once again. We're here for Combat Patrol. This time we're on issue 14. Let's get straight into it. So once again we have two paints. We have Rakarth Flesh and Screamer Pink. And I'd just like to address the elephant in the room at this point. Another two paints to go with the two paints from issue 11, and 12 and 13 had 6 figures. So this, from a point of view of what you get, is the weakest of the sets that we've had so far. It's something that's going to cause debate about value for most people that are just picking this up. From the point of view of someone who wants the entire set, yeah, okay, there's going to be some issues where that happens, but from an average collector's point of view, where they're just picking up the ones they want, this is not a good run. It would have been better to pace this a little bit differently, but aside from the fact that, yeah, you're going to have to get through the paint issues, there's not much else we can say, is there? They've made their choice on how to put these issues together, and that's just what they've gone with. So let's get straight into issue 14. In this issue, you'll continue painting your models with 2 new base paints, Rakarth Flesh and Screamer Pink. You'll also get to deploy your models and utilize the powerful Deep Strike and Infiltrate rules on the battlefield for the first time. So we've got some good incoming stuff. We're painting with Rakarth Flesh this time, and it's the colour for the Purity Seals. Okay, didn't expect that. I've always used a mixture of Bugman's Gold and Corax White, which gives you a kind of very fleshy colour, and then you add more Corax White to it, and it eventually becomes a kind of slightly brownish paint, which, now I'm thinking about it, pretty much is this. Yeah. So yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we're starting to get to all of our guys together, which is nice, but why on earth would you want to use Screamer Pink on these guys? What are you using the pink on? Oh, Purity Seals. Really? They're using pink on the Purity Seals? I don't think I would have done that. They're also using the Rakarth Flesh on the inside of the captain's cape. I just went with white. If you've got red on the outside and white on the inside, it looks brilliant. It's a very obvious clash, which I like. That, I would not have considered using pink on the Purity Seals. I have to say, I have always used red. It makes for a very good, very bright, very eye-catching Purity Seal, but if you want to go for pink, fair enough. And then this is what we've got so far once you've done all of that. Yep, look pretty damn good. I like it. And then the Screamer Pink is being used on the tongues. I called this in the previous episode that they'd use it on the tongues. Again, I went for blood red on the tongues, but I think I might go over and do a little bit of highlighting on the tongues with pink. It looks pretty good. Next up, we've got some information about the Inquisition, who are not the most pleasant of people, let's put it that way. So that'll be interesting to read about. And the 3 Ordos of the Inquisition, Malleus, Xenos, and Hereticus. Yeah, pretty good. Space Marines lore on Oath of Moment. Yeah, the Oath of Moment is what's on these seals, by the way. On the bits, the paperwork that hangs off the Purity Seal, that's your Oath of Moment. And it comes up a lot in the books, so well worth having a look at. Then we get some bits about their foes. Okay, Orcs are being introduced. The Orcs are the fun and games guys. They're the only ones in 40k that are actually happy to be there, so that's quite nice. And the guys bearing witness to the Oath of Moment, excellent. Now we get a bit of information about the Third Tyrannic War. I believe this is against, Hive Fleet Leviathan, which is the current narrative. So that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy looking at that. Hellish Intervention, Dante, Chapter Master of the Blood Angels, nice, excellent stuff. Okay, that's going to be good to read. But let's have a look at our deployments. Now, this is something that we haven't really covered. We kind of did it in the previous issue where we chose where we wanted to put our guys, but now we're getting information on actually deploying our Marines and Tyranids. In games of Combat Patrol, both players get to deploy their models to the tabletop as they see fit. they've got the deployment areas, yeah. Each mission will provide deployment zones, and if you ever pick up an issue of White Dwarf, you'll get loads of this about how to deploy and different configurations for deployment zones for different games. It's really interesting if you're into it. Roll off to find out who deploys, and then once you've deployed, roll off again to see who goes first. Yep, fair enough. And that gives actual levels of tactics, by the way. I'm kind of glossed over it, but if you deploy first, then the other person knows where you are and can deploy to kind of get an idea of how to counter you straight off. But then you roll to see who goes first. And you could go first, or they could, which means you could get the advantage back because you get to try and undo some of the advantage that they've got and things like that. So it makes for very interesting games. Got different tips on deployments, on threat ranges and this, that and the other. Keeping up with objectives. Matching unit to unit is very interesting because that's actually just leads into what I was talking about just now. If you know where your opponent's deployed, you can then counter them. Yeah, so match units with units. Don't put your termagants next to a dreadnought, that kind of thing, because it's going to tear through them. But put a really powerful guy next to something that's also really powerful to balance it out, or if you think you've got the strategy to be able to do it, perhaps group your really powerful guys around something you want to take out very early in the game and then charge it, that kind of thing. So then we get to infiltrators and deep strike. This is something that we haven't covered at all so far. So in the 41st millennium, the line of battle is never clean. Through technology, training, and strange mutations, many warriors specialize in appearing where they're least expected, making for a devastating impact on the course of battle. This is how we do it. Infiltrators. Units that are infiltrators can be deployed much more closely to the enemy army, representing an attack from a concealed position. This allows them to grab an objective early, respond to the opponent's deployment, and set up for a deadly attack. Your Von Ryan's Leapers have the infiltrate rule, which is probably why they've gone for Tyranids and Space Marines first, because they're basically covering all the bases, representing the instinctual cunning of these creatures and their role as vital vanguards within the Tyranid swarm. Using infiltrators is simple. When the time comes to deploy them, you do not need to deploy within your own deployment zone. So if you've got infiltrators, you can deploy outside your deployment zone. Instead, infiltrators may be deployed anywhere that is more than 9 inches from the enemy deployment zone and enemy models. So we've got Tyranids here, Space Marines there. We could deploy anywhere that's outside of 9 inches. So we could cover Objective 2 from turn 1. Interesting idea, especially if you're going for objectives rather than trying to table your opponent or anything else. That's pretty cool. When both forces have infiltrators, the deployment of one unit can block another, because of course you have to be outside of both the 9 inches from the enemy deployment zone and 9 inches from enemy models. So if you got to deploy first, you can block them from coming and blocking there. During deployment, the Tyranid Flare uses the infiltrator's ability to deploy their units of Von Ryan's Leapers. They choose to deploy them aggressively next to an objective marker. Yes, of course they do. However, this is risky. While the Von Ryan's Leapers could be well positioned for charge against the Space Marine lines, if the Space Marines player gets the first turn, those Leapers are exposed. Excellent. Excellent way of explaining this. I like that because it shows the tactics. There's balance to everything. Yeah, they got an advantage from coming forward, but they're exposed. And the enemy player is going to go for them. Of course they are. So I like that. It's showing off that everything can be countered. Then we have Deep Strike. Okay, here we go. Some units are capable of appearing on the battlefield once battle has begun. Whether by teleportation or swooping down upon great leathery wings, that's that guy. Regardless of how they do it, all these units have Deep Strike, which lets them be held in reserves and deployed into the heart of battle later. We have not covered reserves yet, and Scenario 10 is Deep Strike, so we're going to cover it now. Excellent. When and how to Deep Strike. To use the Deep Strike rule, you must declare before deployment which units you are holding in reserves. Before you deploy, right, these guys, they're going in reserves. So, let's say, yeah, these guys, I'm going to put them to one side, they're reserves. They're not being deployed. You've got to tell your opponent, because their tactics will vary depending on what you do. That's fair enough. These units are not deployed with the rest of the army. You may deploy them at the end of your movement phase, placing them anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches from an enemy unit. You may not do this on the first turn, so Deep Strike comes in from turn 2. In the movement phase from turn 2. At the end of the movement phase on their second turn, the Space Marines players opts to Deep Strike with their Space Marine captain. And boom, here he is. He's portaled in, or whatever he's doing. Their intention is to rush and charge, attacking the barb gaunts before they have a chance to shoot the captain. Good idea? Yep, that sounds good. So, you measure 9 inches away from barb gaunts, there's your guy. Excellent. So that's as close as you can get. That's great. Explained it very easily. Deep Strike is something that can throw people off, but it doesn't have to, and I like how they've done it there. Excellent. Great job. Well explained. Now we come to the actual mission. So, what we got? We got a Captain Terminator armor, 5 Infernus Marines, and 2 Terminators. Oh, so when I randomly picked up 2 guys earlier on, that was actually what was what we were going to be using. Interesting. You must Deep Strike with the Captain in this mission, so it's making you practice Deep Strike. Excellent, great news. 5 Barb Gaunts, 3 Von Ryan's Leapers, 10 Termagants, and a partridge in a pear tree. You may place the Von Ryan's Leapers anywhere on the battlefield that is at least 9 inches away from enemy models. So, the other ones have to be in the Tyranid deployment zone. Leapers could be anywhere here. Okay, in this mission, you score victory points as follows. 5 for controlling 1 objective, 5 for controlling 2 objectives, 5 for controlling more objectives than your opponent. Fair enough. I like that. Fairly simple. And how do we win? By having the most victory points. So yeah, it's explaining how people might go on about doing this, and then at some point, there's the Space Marine Captain. He's portaled in, and now he's charging. Okay, yeah, this sounds good. Let's go and try it. Welcome back to the game room, and we're doing scenario 10, Deep Strike. So this time, we've got a scenario where all the Tyranids are going to line up down this side, all the Space Marines are going to line up down this side. Try to get the camera as far out from the board as possible, so hopefully this is going to work out well for us, but we'll see how it goes. We have a Captain and Terminator armor who is going to be using Deep Strike to strike in on turn 2. We have 3 Von Ryan's Leapers who are going to be using their infiltration ability to come in to the game at the start outside of the standard deployment zone, which is down the left-hand side, so somewhere in this area. We also have 2 Terminators, so let's put them straight in. We're going to use Chunky Sergeant and Guy with Big Gun, and they are straight onto one of the objectives. We're still technically within the Space Marine deployment zone, so that's good. We could put them a bit further, but I want to keep them inside these boxes just so I know exactly that they're inside. Basically, this crease on the board is the edge of their deployment zone. So actually, from a strategic point of view, if I put them as close to the edge of the deployment zone as possible, that limits where the Von Ryan's Leapers can infiltrate because they have to be a certain distance. We also get 5 Infernus Marines. And once again, since we have an objective marker down here, I'm going to put their starting point on the objective down here. This will immediately give us 10 points. That's probably not going to do a huge amount in terms of winning them some points, because the Tyranids are going to do the same thing, but that's not the point. So, next up we have 5 Barb Gaunts for the Tyranids. Where did I put the Barb Gaunts? Where are my Tyranids? Barb Gaunts are really good at fighting Infernus Squad, so I'm going to put these, again, right at the edge of the deployment zone, opposite the Infernus Squad, because they are going to be going for them. As with previous episodes, the Barb Gaunts are going to be attacking these guys because there's 5 of them, so they get their extra points. And if I don't move them, they'll also be gaining us some objective markers, so it's a win-win situation. And if technically needs be, we probably could shoot the Terminators as well. Who else do the Tyranids get? We get 10 Termagants. They are now set up so that, again, the Tyranids get 10 points at their start, so it evens out. And we can use these to try and swarm an objective if needs be. They're pretty good with the sheer volume of numbers on objective control, so if we march them forward, we could take that one off the Space Marines. We also need to use our infiltration ability to start further forward. So let's do that. Units that are infiltrators can be deployed much more closely to the enemy army. When the time comes to deploy them, you do not need to deploy within your own deployment zone. Instead, they may be deployed anywhere that is more than 9 inches from the enemy deployment zone and any enemy models. 9 inches? We picked up a nice Games Workshop thing. Yes, I am that kind of person who buys the official tape measures. So we can be 9 inches from the deployment zone, but we've also got to be 9 inches from these guys. So 9 inches gets us to anywhere on this line. Essentially, we could go a little bit further, but we would have to be about this line to get away from those. The same over there, just because of how I've lined them up. So, if I decide to put my Von Reisleepers about here, are they outside of 9 inches from here? No, they're not. But it would be if I sat them there. 9 inches. So, we have now infiltrated into the area, and those leapers are about to go straight for those terminators, which is a great thing. Also, worth remembering, Captain is going to deep strike. He's going to deep strike with his terminators because I'm allying him with the terminators, if possible. Not sure I can ally with the terminators, technically, as an ally thing, but he's going to deep strike as a unit on its own. Let's put it that way. He's going to just deep strike on units of its own on turn 2, and we'll come to the rules for that when we get there. But before we do get to that point, let's just remember what they are. It has to be 9 inches away from enemy units. Anywhere on the battlefield 9 inches away, which means if we want to try and block off as much of this board as we can, and let's face it, the Terminators do want to do that, they want to control it, because winning on this battle is all about controlling the objective markers. We're going to try and block off so that they can't. So that the captain can't deep strike in a way that will hurt our control of the board, essentially. But from the Space Marines point of view, we're going to try and deep strike straight in and attack something that we can get our teeth into straight away, possibly the Bargons, possibly the Termagants. Terminators, I think, are going to deal with the Von Reisleepers fairly well. Now, I know that the official mission rules say one side is going to go first, but that's not how I work. First of all, here's the round marker. We're on round 1. We're now going to bring in our board and decide who goes first. Blue versus purple. Blue for Space Marines, purple for Tyranids. And Tyranids go first. So, let's see what they're going to do. We have some options. No, these guys aren't going to move for a start because they get extra when they don't move. Always worth remembering. Termagants and Bargons, however, are on objectives at the start. So during the command phase, we tally up how many we've got. We get 5 points for controlling one objective, 5 for controlling 2 objectives, and 5 for controlling more objectives than the opponent. Now, we can't get more than the opponent because 2 and 2, basically, so we can get the 10 points. So now that we've got that, it's time for us to decide what to do. Von Reisleepers have objective control of 1, whereas Termagants have objective control of 2, and Terminators have objective control of 1. So currently there's 2 points on there. If I move the Von Reisleepers onto the objective, we then get 3 against 2. So we can take that objective, and we can also fight the guys. So, Von Reisleepers have a movement of 10 inches. And these guys are, as we already worked out, are 9 inches away. So I'm going to move them to 2 inches away. There's our move. The Termagants can move 6 inches. So I'm going to move those to here. This will mean that we lose one objective marker. And I realise that this may not be strategically the best idea. However, I think I am right in doing this because the first thing that the Space Marines are likely to do is try and deploy their captain to help out fight the Von Reisleepers. I want some backup for the Leapers, Otherwise, we're going to have some issues later in the game when the captain and the Terminator squad absolutely destroy those guys. Right, movement is over. Because the Barb Gaunts aren't moving. They're already controlling that objective. We're going to start shooting. We'll start with the Barb Gaunts because that is one of the special rules, which is always useful to remember. We have a blast weapon. Barb Gaunts have a blast weapon, and it's heavy. So, we get +1 on the hit rolls because we haven't moved, and we add 1 to the attack characteristic because there's 5 on this set, and blast comes into account on that. So let's do this. When we roll for how many attacks we get, instead of being d6, it's now d6 +1 per Barb Gaunt. We have 5 Barb Gaunts, d6 +5. Let's see how many attacks we get. 6, 10, 15, 18 +5 is 23 attacks. Okay, Barb Gaunt's going straight for the Infernus. Let's see how it goes. Because it's heavy, we get +1 on our hit rolls. So instead of hitting on a 4+ for our ranged attack, we now hit on a 3+. 23 attacks hitting on a 3+. Okay, that was really good. 20 of hit. Oh my goodness, 20 of hit. So, let's have a look at our wound rolls. Strength of 5 against a toughness for the Infernus squad of 4. Strength is greater than toughness. We wound on a 3+. This is going to be a little bit galling if we end up losing Space Marines straight away, but you know, them's the rolls, that's what happens. Of course, remember, we've got a captain deep striking in next turn, so this should be okay. Wounding on a 3+. Okay, this is where strength in numbers comes in because we have lost some, but there's still a lot. 12 have wounded. Okay, let's have a look at our saving throw. So, Infernus squad has a saving throw of 3+. It's all 3s today, my goodness. Let's see if they can manage to save 12. Oh my goodness. Okay, that one's saved. That one is cocked, so we'll re-roll that. And saved. Okay, 6 did not save. This is actually quite bad for the for the Infernus squad at this point. Oh dear. So we've got damage of 1, so that's 6 damage. Infernus squad have 2 wounds, so that's 3 guys dead straight away. I'm going to take out the ones that are generics rather than the special guy, like the lieutenant. And the special guy that came with the, I think it was the second delivery, wasn't it? The Infernus Sergeant, there you are. That's not a great start, but here we go. Right, we now need to work out line of sight because can these guys actually see those guys? No. I have managed to successfully shield the Terminators from the Termagants via the Von Reinsleepers. The Von Reinsleepers are completely in the way. So, Termagants can't shoot. That's a shame. Okay, now we're working on charge. Well, Termagants are just as good fighting in melee as they are fighting with range, so we could try and charge. How far would they have to go to charge? They're going to need a 12-inch charge. Might as well give it a try. You never know. Could try and wipe people out straight away. No. No, we're not going to do that. We're specifically not going to do that. I'm going to hold them back in case I need to redeploy later. So I'm not going to charge with those. However, the Von Reinsleepers, they are definitely charging. Because Von Reinsleepers can't do anything except melee attacks. How far do they need? I think it's 2 inches. They need a 3-inch charge. So not quite as good as I thought, but 3-inch charge. Let's do this. Can they get 3 inches on their charge? Yes. There we go. Right. They also get fights first. It's the fight round. Let's do this. Let's see just how badly I can screw up the Space Marines before they even get a chance to fight. Because that's the kind of game we play here. It's all fun and games until someone has their eyes eaten by a Tyranid. What am I talking about? So they get 6 attacks each. There's 3 of them, so that's 18 attacks. And they go first. 18 attacks, and they hit on a 3+. Let's do this. 13 hits. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. So they've got a strength of 5 against the Terminator's toughness of 5. So they wound on a 4+. Wounding on a 4+. 9 wounds. That's not bad at all. And several of them are 6s. My goodness, if they'd had like mortal or anything like that, ho. So 9 wounds. We've now got a save. The Terminator squad's saving throw is 2+. They're very, very tough. Let's see how this goes. Oh my goodness. 8 saved, 1 did not. Okay, so we've got a wound that got through. Damage of 1, and they have, how many wounds? They have 3 wounds each, so one of them has got 1 wound. We'll give it to that guy there with the sword. Right, now they get to fight back. So, the Terminator squad, they're fighting with their melee weapons. We're going to start with the Power Fist. It has 3 attacks and hits on a 3+. Let's see how we go on. Okay, none of them have hit. He's not having a good day. So, Power Sword now hits on a 3+. And all of his have hit. That's excellent. Strength of 5 against the toughness of 5 for the Leapers, so wound on a 4+. 2 of them did not wound, but 1 did. So, we now have a Leaper saving throw of 4+. Let's see how this goes. Didn't save. So, with the Power Sword, 1 damage got through. Leapers have 3 wounds, so pretty much like the Terminators. This guy, just here, he's got a wound now. Right, at the end of round 1, they've lost 3 of the Space Marines. Oh my goodness. So, Space Marines' turn. Situation's a bit different with the Space Marines because we have to check this objective. Now, they're not at half strength, so we don't have to do a battle shock test. However, there's only 2 of them and they have objective control of 1, compared to the 3 Von Ryan's Leapers who also have objective control of 1, which means that this is 3-2, which means the Space Marines do not hold it. Space Marines only hold this one. They only get 5 points. And that is why we swarm with the Tyranids right away if we can. So already we've seen that infiltrators are really powerful. That is great. We've taken control of the board. Now here's the question. Do we want to lose control of that objective marker to fall back? If we do, we can't charge or shoot on this turn. If we fall back, then they're out of melee and they can then shoot on the next turn. I think that is our best move. So, we are going to fall back. This is a normal move, and we're going to try and consolidate ourselves outside of the objective marker. Right, let's do this. They have a 5-inch move, and we have to leave engagement range. So, what I'm going to do is 5-inch move sideways to here. And similar with him. They're still within unit coherency, but they are now outside of the 2-inch engagement range. So they are now out of the battle. This guy has a wound, so we move him around. They now can't shoot and they can't charge, but they are out of engagement range, which keeps them slightly protected, but protection isn't really what I'm going for. What I want is for them to be off this thing. So if these leapers want to try and continue fighting instead of just trying to hold this, they're going to have to leave or at least come further forward. And that changes things for the rest of the game, because remember, we're going to deep strike on turn 2. So we want to try and clear some area where we can do that in a way that will allow us to actually make use of the deep striking captain. With that done, Inferno Squad have a range of 12 inches for their shooting. So that's a foot. Inferno Squad are outside of shooting range. Let's move this over here. We'll not use that area. So they're now going to move 6 inches. Again, we're going to lose the objective marker, but we need to try and get the artillery support for the Tyranids under control. So they're going to move 6 inches, which should now, yeah, they're now within range. So there's our movement phase done. We're now going to shoot. And we're going to then charge afterward, very strictly charge afterward, so that we can take out their ability to fire artillery weapons at anyone on this board. We want to try and shut down the barb gaunts. So let's shoot. We have Inferno Squad, both of them have got Pyre Blasters. Okay, they get D6 attacks each. There's only 2 of them, so it's not going to be huge, but we could potentially have 12 attacks. We have 7 attacks, that's not bad. And because it's Pyre Blasters, they already hit. So strength of 5 against the Barb Gaunt's toughness of 4, they wound on a 3+. 7 attacks wounding on a 3+. Okay, so that one and that one didn't wound. This 6 is cocked. Didn't wound. 4 have wounded. Not bad, we might be able to do some damage here. So, no armor penetration. We should have done that. We should have done armor penetration with the Terminator Squad. I forgot. Sorry about that. Pyre Blasters, no armor penetration, so we go straight to Barb Gaunts. Saving throw of 4+. Can they save on these 4 wounds? Saving on a 4. 3 of them saved. But 1 did not. We get 1 damage. And they have 2 wounds, so one of these guys is half gone already. Okay, let's give it to the one at the back. Right, Terminator Squad can't charge, can't shoot because they've fallen back to try and lure those Von Ryan's Leapers, and possibly also the Termagants, although, let's face it, I think we all know the Termagants, if the Von Ryan's Leapers go for attacking those guys, they're going to then swarm forward, but actually, probably they're going to try and take that. But let's see how it goes. Inferno Squad are going to try and charge. How big would their charge have to be? It would have to be 11 inches. If they get an 11-inch charge, I will be amazed. But let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can shut down the Barb Gaunts. We cannot. Barb Gaunts get to fight another day. That is the end of the road for these guys. So, turn 2. What we've got in the moment is 1 under control, 1 under control. So 2 under control, and we have more under control than our opponent. So Tyranids get 15 points, putting them on 25. Not a bad start. Let's see about moving. Barb Gaunts aren't going to move. Simple as, Barb Gaunts are not moving. Termagants are now going to move in order to try and take control of that objective. Termagants get a 6-inch move, so it's not huge, but it will help, and that's the point. So we'll move them to that. Von Ryan's Leapers, they're also going to move because now we've got Termagants on the objective marker, so we're still kind of controlling this. They're going to have to move to try and get those guys, because again, Von Ryan's Leapers don't have any ranged attacks. They can move 10 inches, so let's see how far have we got. If we remove them 1 inch, that will keep them out of engagement range, so we can then charge in. Because remember, you can't just walk straight into engagement range. But we can move them like that to make it a charge of 2 inches. It also means that the Termagants can see, they've got line of sight on the Terminators. We already know Barb Gaunts can and will shoot these guys. They're going to shoot those guys. So let's start the shooting phase. We'll begin with barbed bonds. They have not moved. They still get to use heavy, which means that they get to add 1 to the hit roll. They don't get extra attacks because there are not more than 5 in the target unit, and there wouldn't even be if we went for the guys over there. So they're going to unleash a torrent and try and get rid of the Inferno squad. There are 5 of them. They get d6 attacks. So that's 5d6. Okay, 7, 10, 13 attacks. Okay, let's do this. 13 attacks. Because we've got +1 to attack, because they haven't moved, we have, instead of hitting on a 4+, we are hitting on a 3+. Okay, hitting on a 3+, so that one's out. That one is cocked. Didn't hit. 8 hits. Not bad at all. So, strength of 5 against the Inferno squad's toughness of 4. They wound on a 3+. 4 wounds. Not bad. We could actually take out the Inferno squad at this point if they don't get their saves. So, Inferno squad, make your saves, 3+, because there's no armor penetration. Saving on a 3+. 2 have not saved. Oh my goodness, 2 have not saved. We have damage of 1 per die and 2 wounds, so yeah, Pyreblaster special guy is now down. Not exactly the best showing for the Space Marines, is it? They're not doing well today, my goodness. So, now, let's concentrate on the Termagants. They have line of sight on the Terminators, so Termagants are now going to fire. There are 10 of them, they get 1 attack each. And their ballistic skill is terrible, they've got a 4+, so 10 attacks hitting on a 4+. 6 managed to do it, 6 hits. Sheer weight of numbers is the advantage of the Tyranids. So, strength of 5 against the Terminator squad's toughness of 5, they now wound on a 4+. Let's see how this goes. Wounding on a 4+. Okay, 1 of them has managed to wound. That is terrible from the Tyranid's point of view, but amazing for the Terminator squad's point of view. Okay, Termagants have no armor penetration, so standard save of 2+. And he saves, so no damage. Excellent. So, we're getting through this fairly quick. I kind of like how quick this is going. We're not going to charge with Termagants, there's no point, because we're trying to use them for objective control. We're not going to move the barbed gaunts because their artillery support is amazing if we don't move them. And we have an advantage that they're on an objective marker, scoring points for the Tyranids if they don't move either way. So, let's charge with the Von Ryan Sleepers. They need a 2-inch charge because we already worked this out. So let's see if they get it. Oh look, they got it. So, once again, Team Big Chompy Lads gets to move in. And they have fights first. There's still 3 of them, and they get 6 attacks each. So on fights first, 18 attacks, and they hit on a 3+. Hitting on a 3+. So not all of them have managed it, but that sheer weight of numbers once again means that they are still going to be very dangerous. Okay. 9 managed to hit. So half got through. That's quite significant. We have a strength of 5 against a toughness of 5, so they wound on a 4+. It's not great, but they do have 9 to go with. Let's see how they do. Okay, wounding on a 4+. They didn't. And that didn't. But 6 did. 6 wounds. Oh my goodness, that is quite significant. So, they have an armor penetration of -1, so the normal 2+ save on the Terminator squad becomes a 3+ save. Can the Terminator squad do it? All but 1. There is 1 that is not saved. However, given that this is a unit of 2. If he loses one more, then that unit is battle shocked. So that's significant. They get to fight back now, though. So the Terminator squad, we have one guy with a power sword and one guy with a power fist. Power fist guy's going first. He gets 3 attacks. Just realised that power sword should have had 4 attacks last time. Not 100% with it today, sorry. A little bit off my game. So we'll make do as we go. 3 attacks, hitting on a 3+. All of them have hit. Excellent. Strength of 8 for the power fist against toughness of 5. Wow. So he gets to wound on a 3+. 2 have managed to wound. That's brilliant. That's brilliant from this point of view. Armor penetration -2 on the leapers, which means their save goes from 4+ to 6+. Let's see if they can save. One of them has saved. One of them has not. How many damage does he do? He does 2 with the power fist. They have 3 wounds and one of them's already wounded. So this Von Ryan's Leaper is out. Okay, we're doing okay. Now, Power Sword Man. Captain Power Sword. He's not a captain, he's Sergeant Power Sword. He has 4 attacks, hitting on a 3+. Okay, 2 of them didn't hit, but 2 did. Strength of 5 this time, against a toughness of 5, so he only wounds on a 4+. Not as good as Power Fist, but let's see how he does. Neither of them have wounded. Oh well. Can't have everything. Okay. Now, it's the turn of the Space Marines. Space Marines control no objectives. But now the Deep Strike rule comes in. So let's have a look at what Deep Strike will actually do. Deploy at the end of the movement phase. So we don't have to deploy just yet. We've got to decide on movement. This time we are still falling back. We're going to do a fallback move. Because I want to make sure that we've got a good chance of this working for us. So, Terminators. They're going to move out of engagement range. They can't move into engagement range with those guys. But I can try and deflect these guys back. So I'm going to try and do that. We have a 5-inch move to here. Don't move him 2 inch. And a 5-inch move to here. So those guys are there. The Infernus guy is still going to try and engage with those guys. Is it worth it? It's only one guy. I've got to do something with him. He's going to get shot at either way, so we might... He's better off... Actually, I'm not going to move him at all. He's going to stay where he is. No, he is going to move. He's going to move. He's got a 6-inch move. He's going to move. He's got a 6-inch move. There's no reason why we shouldn't try and get him into range. 6 inches to here. We'll see how this goes. Right. End of the movement phase. We're going to deep strike. The captain is coming in. Beam me down, Mr. Scott. So, more than 9 inches from an enemy unit. There's our 9 inches. So, it's a big thing. We can't put him over here. But we could put him right at the base of this, or right along that edge. But no, because look, we have managed to successfully corral him. He can't get anywhere except down here, or up at the top. So, we need our guy to be as good as possible and effective as possible as soon as he comes in. Bang! Captain has deep struck straight into enemy territory. He's now coming up behind them. We're going to flank those. We can't move for this turn, but we can shoot. We can certainly shoot. And here's the thing about this captain. The captain has Stormbolter with Rapid Fire 2. We're straight into the shooting phase. Let's go. If we have Rapid Fire 2, we get extra 2 if we're less than halfway. Oh look, those are less than half his usual distance. Rapid fire comes into play. We're going to do this, we're going to go straight in with it. Infernus squad, bolt pistol is just a pistol, so they don't have that, but the Power Blaster has Torrent. We will be using Torrent. because he's got the Power Blaster, he is doing rapid fire. So instead of his usual 2 attacks, he gets 4 attacks on those termagants. Let's go. We're going straight for it. 4 attacks on the termagants with the captain. Let's see how many we can get out of action. Let's do this. 4 attacks on termagants, hitting on a 2+. That is every single one hit. Excellent. Strength of 4 against termagants, toughness of 3, so he hits on a 3+. 4 hits, hitting on a 3+. Every single one is hit. Excellent, that's what we like to hear. No armor penetration though, so the termagants are saving with their base plus, with their base 5+ save. 1 is out. 2 have managed to save, that's amazing, but 2 did not. So, with 1 damage per and 1 wound per, the back 2 are gone. Right, the Space Marines are starting to take back a little bit the initiative. We're going to fire with the other guys as well, the Terminator squad, but we're going to do the Infernus squad first because they want to make a little bit of damage. Infernus squad has 1 guy with a freaking Pyre Blaster. He gets D6 attacks. Let's do this. How many attacks does he get? And remember, these hit automatically. He gets 2 attacks, hits straight away. So, strength of 5 against the Barb Gaunts, toughness of 4. He wounds on a 3+. He has not wounded. Shame. Real shame, but you know, it is what it is. Right, let's do this. We've got a bolt pistol on the Terminator squad. Stormbolter with rapid fire 2. We're going to fire at the Von Rheinsleepers because they are the bigger threat. They are definitely within the 24-inch range, so he's now getting 4 attacks, hitting on a 3+. That's this guy. 4 attacks, hitting on a 3+. And 1 of them has not hit. But 3 have, that's pretty good. So, strength of 6 against Von Rheinsleeper's toughness of 5, which means they wound on a 3+. Let's see what they can do. Oh, 2 did not wound. Shame. No armor penetration, so it's a standard saving throw of 4+. Didn't save. Did not save. 1 damage. Okay. 1 damage. That guy, I'd say that guy, he's got damage. So now we've got the big cannon. There's a reason I chose these guys. Because one of them's got a really powerful sword for melee, one of them's got a really powerful cannon for range. Assault cannon gets 6 attacks and hits on a 3+. Oh, 1 did not hit. 5 have hit. Okay. The assault cannon is good. Strength of 6 against their toughness of 5, so they wound on a 3+ with a nice 5 potential. Wounding on a 3+. 1 has not wounded. So, 4 wounds. They have no armor penetration, so we use the standard 4+ save. Can the Von Rheinsleepers save? Saving on a 4+. Yes, all but 1. All but 1 is saved. How much damage does an assault cannon do? 1! So, our wounded leaper now has 2 wounds. Okay, right. Charge phase. Let's do this. We are much better off if they are not in melee because then they can shoot. However, we already know they have no option but to go for melee. So, the best shot is for those to charge. We should try and take those on as well. The Barb Gaunts are still a problem. If we can move a guy in, he will die almost immediately to those Barb Gaunts because they have got a better chance of fighting, haven't they? Barb Gaunts only have 1 attack each, but there's 5 of them. So actually, sheer weight of numbers, he'd be worse off going for the Termagants. So we're going to try and hold up these Barb Gaunts because they cannot shoot if they're in melee. They will have to fall back if they want to keep shooting. And that's an advantage for the Space Marines. So we're going to try and tie the Barb Gaunts. What kind of... he needs a 6-inch charge. Can we do it? We need 2 D6. 6-inch charge. Let's see if we can do it. Can he get a 6? 4. He can't charge. Okay. That's a bit sad. we're also going to try and deal with the termagants. So, we would need an 11-inch charge in order to have the captain do a charge. It's unlikely he's going to make this. It's very unlikely he is going to make an 11-inch charge. He did not, he got 8. So, oh well. Right. Last but not least, 3-inch charge for the Terminator squad. Can they do it? Terminator squad needs a 3-inch charge to tie up the Von Reinsleepers. They make it. However, the Leapers have fights first. So, yep, let's pile in. Everyone appears to be within engagement range. Move the guys around, they're piling in as well. There we go. Okay, so let's do this. Leapers get fights first. They get 6 attacks each. So this is quite devastating. It's possible that we have made a massive mistake and just hurt all of our Terminators. Remember, one of them is already very badly hurt. So 12 attacks for the Leapers, and they hit on a 3+. Let's do this. Okay, 9 managed to get through. That's not bad at all. 9 got through. Let's do this. Their strength is 5 against a toughness of 5, so they wound on a 4+. Okay, we're paring down quite significantly now. 4 wounds. Okay, let's check on their armor penetration and see what we get. 4 wounds. Armor penetration of -1. So the Terminator squad is saving on a 3+ instead of their standard 2+. Let's see. And 1 got through. Oh my goodness, 1 got through. Well, with 1 damage per, Power Sword Man is now out. That's a shame. He was a big bulky guy. However, Corporal Power Fist is now going to Power Fist his way to vengeance. He gets 3 attacks on his own, and he hits on the 3+. And 1 of them managed to hit. That's not great. This may have been a very bad idea. Strength of 8 against their toughness of 5, so he wounds on a 3+. And he's wounded. -2 on armor penetration, so their standard throw is now 6+ for save. Didn't make it. And Power Fist does 2 damage. One of the Leapers is on 2 damage already. They have 3, remember? One of them's really badly hurt already, so that's 1 damage to get that, and then 1 on there. There we go. So, both of those units are now going to have to take battle shock tests. And that is the end of round 2. We move into round 3. This is where it gets interesting. At the start of round 3, Barb Gaunts control this. Remember that the objective control of the Terminator squad is 1. Objective control of the Von Reinsleepers is 1. And for the Termagants is 2. So Tyranids control that and that, which gives them 10. They control more than the opponents, who would only have 1. So that's 15 points more. So now Tyranids are on 40. Unless the Space Marines table the Tyranids, as in destroy all of the units, they can't win. let's just put it that way. It's pretty obvious who's going to win this. But we're not done. And also, by killing that guy, we're now outside of engagement range. I'm not sure what the rule is on that. I know that we should consolidate and after piling in, but I'm not entirely sure that means keeping them in engagement range. I know it means keeping them in unit coherency, but they appear to now be outside of engagement range, so that's interesting. Let's see how the Tyranids get on. First of all, are we moving? We have no real need to, except for keeping hold of objectives. And since this objective is controlled and that objective is controlled, that one's the only one that's got a bit of an issue with it, because we could technically end up losing that objective. So, no, I'm not going to move. No one needs to move. The Von Reinsleepers are within charge range, which is exactly what I need. The Termagants can shoot anyway. The Barb Gaunts can shoot. Let's just go. We're going straight into the shooting phase. So, Barb Gaunts. They have not moved, but their target is going to have less than 5, because there's 1 guy, 1 guy, and 1 guy. might as well just say their target's not going to have more than 5, so they don't get their extra hits, but they do get their +1 on attack because they haven't moved. So Bob Gonzo shooting that guy. Let's see how many attacks they get. They get D6 attacks, so let's do this. 5 attacks. 5d6 even. How many attacks? 5, 9, 12, 15, 19. 19 attacks. Hitting on a 3+. 11. So they did all right there. So, strength of 5 against the Inferno Squad's toughness of 4. They wound on a 3+. Let's do this. 7 potential wounds. They're probably going to kill this guy at this point. Oh dear. No armor penetration, so we go with a standard save of 3+. Let's hope he can make it, because if he doesn't, he's out of the game. 3+. Okay, one of them did not save. So 1 wound got through. How many does he have? Damage of 1. And he has 2 wounds, so he's on half. He should be battle shocked. I forgot to do a battle shock test. Just realised I haven't been battle shocking. We need to do battle shock for objective control on that, but it won't actually change anything because these guys are also controlling it. So battle shock. 2d6 on the leadership for the Von Ryan-Sleeper. Leadership is 8+. He's made it. So that's okay. It's alright. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good. Right. We can technically do a battle shock test on him now. It won't change anything. Let's do it. So there's 10, and he has leadership 6+, so he's okay as well. He wouldn't have been battle shocked. He's got to take one on his go anyway. So they've shot. Termagants are now going to shoot. No reason why they wouldn't. Termagants' range is 18 inches, and they can see the Terminator. We might as well go for the Terminator. Let's do this. How many of them are there? There's 8. So they get 1 attack each. 8 attacks. Let's do this. 8 attacks, and they hit on a 4+. 3 did not hit, so 5 have managed to hit. That's not bad for the Termagants. They are not the greatest of shots. Strength 5 against a toughness of 5, so they wound on a 4+. Okay. 2 have managed to get through. Pretty good. Any saves? Armor penetration of 0. So, standard 2+ save for the Terminator. Let's see if we get he saved both. That's okay then. Right, there's the shooting phase done. Not bad, not bad. We now need to charge. So, the only one that's charging is the Von Ryan-Sleeper. Let's do this. He has fights first, so of course he's going to fight anyway. He gets a 2-inch charge. That is enough, isn't it? Yes. It's a 2-inch move. There we go. Captain Talonface is going to attack. He gets fights first. He has 6 attacks. He's on his own now, though, so he only gets a 6. He hasn't got any friends to add extra attacks. 6 attacks, hitting on a 3+. 4 got through. That's not bad at all. Strength of 5 against toughness of 5, so wounding on a 4+. And 2 did not wound, but 2 did. Okay, there we go. That's not bad at all. -1 on armor penetration, so the standard save for the Terminator is now 3+. He's made both saves. Terminator gets to fight again. He is with a power fist, so he gets 3 attacks. Let's see if he can punch this guy's lights out. For great justice. 3 attacks, wounding on a 3+. 1 of them has not hit. So hitting on a 3+, not wounding. So, 2 managed to get through. Okay. Strength of 8 against the toughness of 5. So he wounds on a 3+. 1 of them did not wound, but 1 did. Armor penetration -2 on a standard saving throw of 4+, so now it's 6+. Didn't save! 2 damage. The Von Ryan-Sleeper is already damaged with 1. Extra 2, he's only got 3 wounds. Our Terminator guys punched the Leaper's lights out. For great justice. Charge phase done. The tides are starting to turn. So, at the start of the Space Marine's turn. We need to do 2 battle shock tests. We'll start with this guy. Inferno Squad's leadership is 6+. He is battle shocked, so no objective control for this guy. Now for the Terminator. His leadership is 6+. He is not battle shocked. He's managed to make his save. So he gets an objective control of 1 against those 2 termagants that are on there, so he doesn't take that objective. This guy is on an objective, so we get 5 points. Now the Space Marines are on 10 to the Tyranids 40. They really, really need to table the opponents if they're going to make this, because they can only score 30 at most. It's technically possible to get the Tyranids off those things. I don't think it's going to happen. So, we're going to make a move. It's not going to be far, but we are moving. We've got to. Because he's the only guy that's on an objective. Because he's about to move. So, he's also going to move. Let's see if we can try and gussy up some extras. I'm going to move the captain first. He's got a 5-inch move. So he can move to here. There we go. Which means that they are now half distance. That's very useful for what happens next. Infernus guy. He is going to move too. He has a 6-inch move. Knock that one there. 6-inch. He is going this way. To there. That's our move over. Why have we done that? Because Terminator guy needs help with those termagants. Okay, someone's just set off fireworks. Terminator guy was going to need help with those termagants in order to control that objective, whereas I think the captain, when he charges, can do a lot of damage here. So, let's go to the shooting phase. Terminator's going to shoot first because I want to use his giant assault cannon. 6 attacks on those termagants. Let's see how this goes. We're not using this bottom part of the board, so we'll use that. 6 attacks. And he hits on a 3+. Okay, that's amazing. Okay. Hits on a 3+, so every single one of those is hit. He has a strength of 6 against termagants, toughness of 3. So toughness is half of strength. He wounds on a 2+. Here we go. Now we're starting to get some damage. 2 of these went out. Wounding on a 2+. Every single one is wounded. Excellent. No armor penetration. What is their saving throw? Saving throw of 5+. Termagants are not exactly made of stern stuff. Let's see. Can they save? Okay, that didn't. We have 5 that did not save. Did that the wrong way around, didn't I? 5 that did not save. And since his damage is 1 per, and they only have 1 wound, 5 of these are gone. 1. Because that's how it works. 3 attacks, they all hit because that's how it works. So, we have strength of 4 against their toughness of 3. So he wounds on a 3+. Everyone is wounded. It does not have armor penetration, so they save on a 5+ for their standard save. Let's see if we can get rid of these. 1 has saved. 2 did not. Damage of 1, so 2 are down. That is severe. Oh, okay. As we've already demonstrated, they are within the half for the captain. So with his rapid fire 2, they're within half range. Instead of 2 attacks, he gets 4. Captain hits on a 2+ with his storm bolter. 1 of them did not hit. 3 got through. Excellent. Strength of 4 against Barbon's toughness of 4. He wounds on a 4+. It's not the best wound roll that we can have, but it hopefully will make do. Wounds on a 4+. 2 did not wound. 1 got through. Okay, so we have no armor penetration, so their standard 4+ save comes in. They saved. My God, they saved. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. He needs his wound thing. Okay, so Not bad at all. We have a guy on an objective marker. We need to now get this objective. We need to start dealing some absolute damage. I don't know if we can win from the Space Marine's point of view. We need to charge, and we need to do it now. So, let's do this. Because Termagants have objective control of 2. If he moves on to there, then that guy can't contest that objective. Barb Gaunts have objective control of 1, but they have 3 guys on the objective. So we need to charge and get rid of 3 guys to take them off here, because if at the start of the next round they have anyone on here, the Tyranids have won. It's at that level. We need to get the 15 points in round 4 and round 5 in order for the Space Marines to win. And what happens on our charge will come down to whether this guy can make it. He's charging. He needs a 7-inch charge. Can he make it? If he does it, this is very interesting. He's got a 7-inch charge. He's done it. 7 inches. The others are now going to charge. There is no way that our captain is going to make a 9-inch charge. It's just not going to happen, is it? But we're going to try. No, he can't do it. He is now going to try. The Furnace Squad. He's going to need an 11-inch charge. He gets 10. Holy crap, he's done it. It wasn't an 11-inch charge, it's a 10-inch. He's done it. Right, let's do the Power Fist attack first. He fights first. So how many does he get with Power Fist? It's 3 for the Terminator. Hitting on a 3+. 2 of them have hit. Okay, let's do this. So 2 hits. He has strength of 8 against the Termagant's toughness of 3, so he wounds on a 2+. And 2 wounds. They're now going to have to save. He has armor penetration of -2. Termagants have a 5+ save, which means it goes to 6+, because 6 is an automatic save anyway. They don't make it. The Termagants are mush. He is now not on an objective, but never mind. Got our Inferno Squad. With his sword, he gets 3 attacks. Can he do it? Can he do it? 3 attacks. And he hits on a 3+. Okay, so 2 have managed to hit. That's not bad, actually. Not bad at all. 2 have hit. So what's his strength? Strength of 4 against Barb Gaunt's toughness of 4, so he's wounding on a 4+. One of them is wounded. No armor penetration, so Barb Gaunt's save on a 4+. Can they make the save? They do not. So, an extra 1 point of damage. So, 1 Barb Gaunt is down. They now get to attack. So, we get a 3-inch pile in. So let's do this. Is he within 3 inches at the back? Can he do this? No. We'd be able to get to there, and that's not quite enough. So only 3 are attacking. Let's see how this goes. He goes 2 damage, sorry. There we go, 3 are attacking. Barb Gaunts, this may have been a bad idea, but never mind. Barb Gaunts have 1 attack each with their chitinous claws and teeth, so they get 3 attacks. That's not bad at all. They hit on a 4+, so 1 of them didn't hit, but the other 2 did. Pretty good. Strength of 4 against a toughness of 4, so they wound on a 4+. Both have wounded. They have no armor penetration, so we're saving on a 3+. Can he save? He needs to save. He saved both. Oh, he lives to fight another day. However, that is the end of our round. Now we have a situation. Quite a big situation, in fact. Because he's battle shocked, which means it doesn't... But it wouldn't matter anyway. He can't contest it because he's battle shocked, but he only gets 1, and so do the Barb Gaunts, and there's 4 of them on there, so they get that. They get 5 points. They're also controlling more than the opponent, so they get another 5 points. They're now on 50 at the start of round 4. So yeah, that was pretty good. Deep Strike is not as bad a rule as if you've ever read some of the forums, might make it out, or if you've watched any of the tournaments that go on, it does catch people out every now and again, but that's more of a tactical thing and being aware of the surroundings and your circumstances rather than the rule itself being that bad. So that's pretty cool. I enjoy that. But of course we did get a Tyranid victory, so let's have a look at what this says for them. The Tyranids drag the last of the Space Marines into the shadows for a feast of biomass. The hive mind comprehends its victory and prepares to breed more infiltrating organisms. By ceding its territory with Von Ryan's Leapers, it will make recapturing lost ground almost impossible for the Space Marines. So there we go. The hive mind of the Tyranids being the naughty guy that it is. All in all, this has actually been a pretty good one. Again, we've got the advert for various things from Games Workshop and Combat Patrol there. And then next time, oh look, we get the Psychophage, which is cool, but another set of paints. Mephiston Red and Squig Orange, neither of which are in the starter set from when I got my starter box set plus the starter paints. So I'm interested to see what they're going to use these for, since we've already used the reds on various things. Could be interesting. I'll look forward to see what they cover with that. But again, another set of paints so soon. People are going to complain about the amount of supposed low value magazines. From my point of view, the magazine is actually really good. And I'm especially looking forward to the Psychophage because, well, Psychophage is cool. But here we are. We've got a lot of good stuff there. Good mission. Clear explanation of the various rules. Really good. All in all, another good one. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Still pretty good. I'm enjoying the magazine so far, and I hope to continue. We've got the Eldari and Chaos Space Marines coming up very soon, so that's going to be something to watch. And for now, I hope you have liked it. If you have, remember to click that like button, share it with your friends so that they'll know a good magazine when they see it, and do subscribe for future videos, because there will be more in the future. But until next time, I've been Zoe Kirk-Robinson. You've been watching WarGame Hammer Wargaming. Bit of a mouthful, I know. But take care. I'll see you later. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk-Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey82, Mo Henry, and George Botterini. Thank you so much, guys.